Testimony has been received in the case. Final arguments have been heard. There remains nothing now but the task of the tribunal to render its decision. The tribunal will recess until further notification.
Now, I've collected several precedents and arguments here that have a bearing on the basis of the case, which is, of course, the conflict between allegiance to international law and to the laws of one's own country. Dan, we have a mountain of material to go over here. What are you looking at, Dan?
No, I was looking at some of these pictures attached to the warrants for arrest.
What pictures?
Well, there's Peterson, before the operating room. And here's Irene Hoffman. She really was 16 once, wasn't she? Feldenstein. Here's the situation of a boy. Certainly could have been more than 14. Executed for saying things against the Third Reich by order of Justice Friedrich Hofstetter.
If I may say so, more pertinent to the legal basis of the case, I have the opening address of the French prosecutor before the International Military Tribunal. It is obvious that in a state organized along modern lines, responsibility is confined to those who act directly for the state. Since they alone are in a position to judge the legitimacy of the given orders, they alone can be prosecuted. I have another from Professor Yarai's legal aspects, trial of the major war criminal. Now, on the basis of these, I don't see where the prosecution has put forth a really clear-cut case against the defense pertaining to the charges in the indictment. Regardless of the acts committed, we cannot make the interpretation that these defendants are really responsible for crimes against humanity. What do you think, Dan? Ken, we've been going over these points all day. If it isn't clear now, aren't you going to look at these precedents? Aren't you interested at all?
Yes, I'm interested, Curtis. You were speaking of crimes against humanity and saying that the defendants were not responsible for their acts. I'd like you to explain that to me.
I've just been explaining it.
Well, maybe. But all I've heard is a lot of legalistic double talk and rationalization. You know, Curtis, when I first became a judge, I knew there were certain people in town I wasn't supposed to touch. I knew that if I was to remain a judge, this was so. But how in God's name do you expect me to look the other way at the murder of 6 million people?
Oh, I'm sure he didn't. I'm not asking you to look the other way at them. I'm asking you, what good is it going to do to pursue this policy?
Curtis, you were saying that the men are not responsible for their acts. You're going to have to explain that to me. You're going to have to explain it very carefully.